Hi friends, Editing Mickey here to give you a brief trigger warning for essay and misogyny from 25 minutes 55 seconds to 44 minutes 55 seconds. Okay, thanks. Enjoy the episode.
I just don't understand why you would want to put alcohol in your soup. That's my thing.
Hannah, why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
He's dressed in all black. He's like in a trench coat, and they play this dramatic music, and the gate opens, and it's just his silhouette, and he's like walking down the driveway.
This sounds like a meme. This sounds like a
It
joke.
sounds, the whole thing does not. I know. What is this now?
We're on episode 9. Welcome, friends.
9.
You're listening to Thanks We Hate It. I'm Mickey Atkins.
I'm Hannah Lehman.
And we're on episode 9. I can't believe it.
999.
Love
Here
that for
we
us.
are.
Welcome to the pod, everybody. Thanks for coming back. I'm excited because Hannah has a topic for me that I know nothing about this week.
Isn't that how it is every week when I have a topic?
A little bit, yeah. Actually, I love it.
That's kind of the fun.
Yeah. These are things that I would never know about otherwise.
Exactly. Mickey,
Mm-hmm.
where are you? Look at you.
I know. I'm so excited.
Tell the viewers,
So,
people watching on the tubes,
by
where
the
you
time
were at.
this goes up, I will have announced this already, but as we're recording, I have not. Erin and I have a studio space now, and I'm so excited about it. It's not done. She still needs a little work.
So
but-
I am obsessed
Thank you.
with the orange chairs.
I know. They're so good. I love them.
They're so cute.
Thank you. Yeah. So this is my new studio space. This is where we will be recording all of our new content and stuff, and also where I'm going to be doing all my live streams from now on, because the internet here slaps, and I'm so excited about it.
Guess what I had for lunch today?
Ah, you had Taco Bell. I am a Taco Bell evangelist, Hannah. You have to tell me how you felt about it.
Y'all, Mickey got me on Taco Bell in the
It's
first
so
place
good.
because I had never had it before until we went to Vegas.
Which is crazy
And then I went
to me.
to the one in Vegas with Mickey and Aaron,
Mm-hmm.
and the one where they serve alcoholic Baja Blasts and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Delicious.
And I was like, I mean, it's good, but it's also like, it tastes like a fast food taco. Like,
yeah, that's
right now
the appeal.
I've been getting it like once every couple weeks, just like for lunch, because I knew that this was going to be my favorite thing there. But sure enough, the Locos Tacos, the Doritos tacos, I am such a sucker for food that has like a creative twist like that. That's like
It's
the
so
little
fun.
like the Bloody Marys with the tiny little sliders on top, like that kind of thing.
Oh my God.
Just really like, oh
That's so
man, I
fun.
love novel stuff like that. And I don't even like Bloody Marys, but
Same.
I would probably drink one for that.
Yeah, that's fair. I am a Bloody Mary hater, but if it had a little slider on it, I might get it.
I just don't understand why you would want to put alcohol in your soup. That's my thing.
Hannah, why would you say something so controversial yet so brave? Stop, that's so true. My mom like loves Bloody Marys and is like so dismayed that I don't like them, and they're just not fucking good. Like, I'm sorry, they're just not.
I don't understand. It's like, I don't necessarily, I'm not a huge fan of like vodka shots, like vodka
That's
either,
fair.
like the taste of vodka. I'll drink it in a tonic because I can't taste the vodka. But putting vodka in tomato juice,
Yeah. Mm-mm.
who did that?
Why?
Who thought of that?
Why?
Who was like, you know what would be good in my tomato soup?
Yeah.
Some celery,
Especially
some cold celery, and some vodka.
Ew, you know, especially when people make them with clamato, where it's like clam juice and tomato juice. Just like, well, that's so much. Tomato juice is already salty. Do we really need to put clams in it? Like, it's all off balance. And I don't appreciate it. I'm going to tell people that
That's
now when they ask me why I'm a
disgusting.
Bloody Mary hater, because you're right. Why are we putting alcohol in our soup? It doesn't make any sense.
It's
It's not
makes
good.
no sense. If people put little sliders on it, I would definitely at least eat the sliders.
Mm-hmm.
I just think stuff like that's so cute.
Yes.
So
Okay, but tell me about your Taco Bell experience. How was it?
So I had Taco Bell. So I've always so now every time I go there, I usually just get a couple of the Doritos tacos, and just like the plain ones, like they don't need anything on them. Like I've tried them with sour cream and it didn't add anything to it. Like I like them just how they are. So I've been eating those, and today I tried the cinnamon twisty things one time. They're like cinnamon fries, like dry cinnamon fried chips.
Yes.
Those were very good. But then Mickey told me that I should try the Cinnabon. What are they called? The Cinnabon.
I don't know what they are. I always just ask for the Cinnabon things.
They're the Cinnabon thingies. The Cinnabon bites.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You liked them?
I loved them.
They're
but I was kind of glad they only come in 2s or like 12, because bitch, I would have sat there and ate all of them and been sick because they were so good. They're like soft and they're buttery, and because they're so small, they have a really good cinnamon sugar to dough ratio.
Yes, and the filling on the inside,
they were warm. The filling was good. I was like, this could be bad. Like I wasn't sure it was. I mean, I'm sure I'd eat them. Like it didn't. Like how could you?
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to mess up a donut with sugar on it. Like you could pretty much stomach that no matter what. But they were like really good. Like I was actively impressed.
Oh, they're so good. I have a friend who hates them, actually. This friend like refuses to eat them because they don't like the way that the filling is like on the inside, just like the texture of it for some reason. But personally, I just
like they want to dip it
in
the filling.
But like literally there was a year when all my dad bought me for my birthday was like a big like 50-pack of those Cinnabon things, and I was just a happy little clam. They're so good.
Did he buy them for you from the restaurant, or can you buy them somewhere else?
So my dad,
he went to the restaurant and ordered 50 of them.
Well, my dad just so happens to be friends with a guy who like franchises a Taco Bell or whatever, and was like, "Hey, weird request. Can I just like buy a bunch of fucking Cinnabon things from you?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, sure." So that's what he gave me for my birthday. But
that's so cute. Wow. So you've known about these for a while.
Oh,
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're just like gatekeeping them from me then until I discovered them.
You know what's funny is because Taco Bell used to have caramel apple empanadas, and those, Hannah, when I tell you
those were before my Taco Bell time.
The single most traumatic thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life was Taco Bell no longer carrying verde sauce and no longer carrying the caramel apple empanadas. They were so good.
What's a caramel apple empanada?
It's exactly what it sounds like. It's like a little, like I think white people call them hand pies. They're like little. It's like a little moon-shaped thing, but it was filled with the most delicious warm caramel sauce and like little apples, like little sliced up, like cubed up apples, like apple pie filling basically, but with a bunch of caramel in them.
McDonald's sells like those apple pies. I'm sure it's not the same thing.
Not at all. It was life-changingly good.
Taco Bell caramel. I have to look up a picture.
Please do, because they're so good.
Apple empanada. Oh yeah, those look like they slap. You could make a copycat recipe.
Well, that would probably require me to deep fry something though, which is like not my strong suit,
which is a huge mess.
Yeah,
I wonder why they took them off.
I don't know, because I think I was ordering enough of them to single-handedly keep them on the menu personally.
So, Mickey, today we are going to talk about. You guys, I want to talk about The Idol. I think this would I think this is a really great segue from last week's episode, because we talked about Euphoria in the later part of last week's episode and our thoughts and feelings on that show. And Sam Levinson, yes, he is one of the producers. He was the director. I think he wrote the pilot.
For Euphoria or for The Idol? Or both?
For The Idol.
Okay.
But he is the creator of Euphoria.
Okay.
And The Idol has been making quite a few waves for its kind of like controversy. Oh. It stars Lily Rose Depp, who is Johnny Depp's daughter, The Weeknd, and a few others. Dan Levy makes an appearance.
Oh,
and
love Dan Levy. Okay.
Love him. Adorable. He's the best. Oh, and then, this other person, Blackpink.
Isn't that a K-pop band?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't listen to K-pop, so
either.
I don't know, but she plays Diane.
Okay.
So, okay. So I have heard a lot about this,
cast.
and I honestly wasn't going to watch it because of like the controversial nature, but since I wanted to talk about it, I was like, okay, I have to watch the pilot. So I watched the pilot this morning. It's on HBO Max, and D'Angelo Wallace was talking about this too. So of course, you know, I take everything that he says is gospel, so I'm just kidding, but I have to. So I watched it too to see if I agreed with his opinion on it, and yeah, it's bad. It's not a great show, and I only watched the first episode. There's only 3 episodes out, so it's not like I'm that behind. But do you want me to just walk you through the first episode so you can just react without seeing it?
Help me understand. When you say that it's bad, like bad as in like a poorly created piece of media, or bad as in like the show premise is problematic, or like both?
The
like,
show premise, the show premise is very problematic, and we'll get into that. The show itself is, I can't say it's bad or good because I have opinions that some parts are really good and some parts are really bad. I have to say, Lily Rose Depp slaps. I was very pleasantly surprised.
Interesting.
She must have been taking acting lessons from her daddy or something, because she I think this is her debut role. I think this is the first thing. I think this is just like it's definitely like one of the first things. She's only 24, but I think this is her debut like lead
big thing.
Yeah. She's a really good actress. I really liked her in the first episode. I thought she did a really good job. I thought she really committed to it. Like the opening scene itself was like beautiful, and I thought she did such a good job. Like so the opening scene is her. She's a model, and well, she's modeling, but she's a pop star. So she's
How
a
old
celebrity.
is everybody supposed to be in this world?
Adults. Thank God.
So it's not like Euphoria where they're all high school kids.
I think she's supposed to be a little younger than she is, but I think she's an adult. Like at least she is. Close. They treat her like an early 20s girl.
Got it.
Trying to make it as a pop star. And the premise, which is so the premise, after having a nervous breakdown that caused the cancellation of her last tour, we don't see this nervous breakdown. They just refer to it as her quote unquote, from the show, not me, psychotic break. But there's arguments about whether it was really a psychotic break or not, or whatever. So she has some sort of nervous breakdown, and an aspiring pop star begins a complicated relationship with a self-help guru and the head of a contemporary cult. The self-help guru is also a cult leader. So it has 24% currently on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oof.
And 5.6% and 5.6 on IMDb, which is higher than I thought it was going to be. Let me walk you through. Let me just walk you through so I can tell you all the controversial things so far. So you know who The Weeknd is, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. He's not in the first half of the first episode. The first episode, like pretty much spoilers, by the way, for the pilot of the Idol, everybody. I assume that kind of went without saying, but I'm gonna spoil it for Mickey too, but I don't know you're fine with that, right?
Yes.
You're consenting to me spoiling the pilot of the Idol.
Thank you for checking.
So it starts out with Lily modeling, and no, her character, not Lily Rose, Jocelyn. They call her like Joss. And it's really bizarre because like the first like 15 minutes of the episode, the whole thing is like surrounding everybody around Jocelyn. Like it's not from her point of view. Weird. It's like the way everybody handles her as a celebrity. It's her PR team and the people around her. And so then we see her like the next day, she's doing another photo shoot and she takes her top off and she like wants to be naked, like half naked for the photo shoot. She wants to show her breasts, which again for me, and I'm always like, if a high status actress in Hollywood is willing to show adults, obviously willing to show their breasts on camera, I have a lot of respect for that, because I feel like for them it's probably empowering, one, but it's often fake. Like it's often a body double in Hollywood, like in a lot of movies and stuff, they use body doubles for especially high profile actresses and actors. They use body doubles for stuff like that. So not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just thought that was interesting that it just showed she really committed to this role. She was willing, she was like, obviously willing to do whatever.
Sure, yeah. I can appreciate
so
that.
there's this intimacy coordinator. You know what an intimacy coordinator is?
I follow one on TikTok, actually.
Okay. Great, right? Like their jobs are great.
Yeah.
Like they are very important, I would say, in movies and TV. Like, okay, before I go on, like what would you say your understanding of an intimacy coordinator, like what is their purpose and their job, and like what are they there to do?
So from my understanding, basically the whole shtick with being an intimacy coordinator is just making sure that all of the actors involved in like an intimate scene or a sex scene or whatever are feeling comfortable or having their requests met, that everybody's abiding by like the appropriate laws too, because also there's like actual like laws in place about how you can't have like bits touching, because otherwise then it's like a different type of media. Like there's regulations that need to be abided by, but also their job is to like be an advocate for the actors, basically.
Thank you.
Right?
Okay, so her intimacy coordinator comes in and stops her team and tells them all, the intimacy coordinator is the butt of the whole joke in this scene. And he's telling them like, hey, she cannot show her nipples. That's not in the current contract. If you want to do that, we have to go back and it's going to take 48 hours, but we have to go back and like judge the contract and she has to sign for certain things. Like he was advocating for her and like literally just trying to make sure that everything was above board and that he was an intimacy coordinator, and he is made as they are all like making fun of him. He's so annoying. He's being ridiculously annoying. Like it was just like, it was such a weird job to scrutinize in this show. It was very weird. So then one of her managers, like this big tough guy, one of her managers tricks him, like talks to him down the hallway, and then she shoves him in a bathroom, and then pays somebody walking by $5,000 to hold him in the bathroom because he's like, she's an adult and she wants to show her breasts. What's wrong with that? Blah, blah. Everybody's so mad at him for doing his job, and he's literally like represented as a character, like a cliche of himself. Like,
oh my god, that's super
it's so weird. It's right. That's not the problematic part about this show. It was just a very weird thing in the script, in my opinion. It was just a very strange way to go about like making it seem like intimacy coordinators were annoying when it's like,
well, and like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure that like for some actors, especially like at least the intimacy coordinator that I follow on TikTok has like made videos talking about how actors that have been in the industry for a long time do have some weird feelings towards intimacy coordinators sometimes, because it wasn't a position that always existed. And so like for somebody who's very experienced and like is an effective advocate for themselves, it can feel a little bit like, who are you? Like, why are you like as like essentially a kindergartner in this industry trying to talk to me who's like, you know, like a big kid on campus, like easy take, you know?
Like, I know I've done this before.
Yeah. So like I can understand that. But like acting as though an intimacy coordinator whose whole job is to be an advocate is like just like embarrassing and like so cringy. It feels a little bit like the thing that
let's hold him hostage somewhere.
Well, yeah, it feels like the thing that people do where they're like, oh, you can't say that anymore because it's not PC, when actually what they just said was something like egregiously racist and offensive, you know? Like, that's a weird, like, did somebody on the writing team have beef with an intimacy coordinator? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
That's weird.
And it's a newer thing. Like, what I find interesting is that actors didn't have those protections and that help. And I have heard like from actors that back in the day, before, if their movie didn't have that, it was hard to film sex scenes because it was just the director, and it was, well, you know, I'm sure there's like people help the whole cast crew coordinating the whole thing, because the whole, you know, a sex scene is the same as a fight scene where it's like every single piece of it is, there's nothing accidental. Every single piece is planned out. But I think that's where the intimacy coordinator comes in. Like, they're helping the actors make it look natural, making sure everybody's comfortable. Like, anyway, okay, I don't want to gripe on it too much, but it was just weird. It was a weird take.
Odd.
So then we get back out. She's doing her photo shoot, and she's like, I want to show my boobies. And we're like, okay, go off.
Okay.
Even though, see, the other thing, like, yes, Lily Rose, like, definitely committed to this role, but there is something to be said about the fact that it does feel a little bit like, not, like, I don't think boob baity is the correct phrase, but it definitely feels like they like want to set up the show like, oh, this is gonna be so this show's gonna be really raunchy, sexy and like really raunchy. It did feel a little bit like, which I'm not faulting Lily Rose for that, like she's doing her job, but it just feels a little bit like, you know, oh, a man wrote this, didn't he? Which is gonna get worse. So then we find out, so our whole team, who includes Dan Levy, we're getting introduced. D'Angelo Wallace in his video was like, we get introduced to like 10 characters in the first like 10 minutes. It's very confusing because then a girl from Vanity Fair comes and she is going to profile Jocelyn, the pop star. And then Dan Levy's there, and they're just all part of the PR team, and they are talking about how Lily Rose Depp has a picture that got leaked of her on the internet, and it's a selfie of her. She took it herself, but it's her with, I can't say this on YouTube, but she has something on her face after an intimate experience, right? And she took a picture of it, like an empowered picture of it, but then somebody leaked it. So her whole PR team is freaking out. They're losing it because she's supposed to be a pop star for like young adults, kids, you know, teenagers. And so they're like, oh my God. And she eventually finds out, and she's like not worried about it at all. Like she's just like, oh, well, it could be worse, I guess. Like it's just very weird. She's a chain smoker. Like she's smoking it up throughout the whole series. I will say, okay, good part about this show is the cinematography is quite beautiful in very Sam Levinson fashion. The angles and the shots are very nice and stuff. So I'm not gonna like, I can't really play by play the whole episode. But basically she ends up going, so after all of this, like that's just setting up her life. She goes out at night with a couple of her friends. The other really important part is her assistant, whose name is Leah. And the assistant is important to the story because she's super sweet, but they're also best friends. Like it's her assistant, helps her do everything, and it's her best friend. So Leah and one of the dancers, Blackpink, go out to this like exclusive club at night, and they're like drinking and everything. And there's the Weeknd in the corner, and he sees her across the room. And it was a moment, but he doesn't go and talk to her. No, he sees that she's there, and he waits for her to drink for a while. And then, since it's his club, he goes and he announces he's like, hey, thanks all for coming tonight. And then he's like, oh my God, is that Jocelyn? Like he just saw her. Jocelyn, because she's a celebrity. Is Jocelyn, the beautiful Jocelyn, in my club? Blah, 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 blah. Like, it's very weird. And he's like, will you dance with me? And he like asks her in front of everybody to dance with him. She ended up dancing with him, and then they go off and they're like going to hook up. They're like, I don't like The Weeknd. I'm just not a huge fan of him anyway. He's just not my favorite. And his acting.
Oh no, was it bad?
It's so bad.
No.
He's the shittiest actor, and it's so sad because Lily Rose Depp is so good. It's very hard to be a good actor and have to try to be main characters with somebody else who's not a good actor. So they go off into this hallway at the club, and they're gonna hook up. Like they're already like making out and stuff.
My God.
Like it's like a stairway like behind the club or whatever. So then her assistant, who is her best friend, who she's super nice to her assistant to her face, but then when her best friend's coming, she's looking for her, and then they're laughing at her behind her back, and he's like, wow, what a boner killer, basically. And she's just like, God. Yeah. And they like sit down, and then so they get interrupted, so they don't end up hooking up. But she hides from her assistant. It's so weird. It's so weird because they're trying to portray Lily Rose as a nice character. Like a Britney Spears type misunderstood pop star who is a nice, good person, but going through a lot, basically. Like, but is like having the Hollywood thing thrown at her. But then she's like mean to her best friend behind her back. And Leah is like the sweetest character ever. And all she does is like spend her life being her assistant and help. Anyway, okay.
Wow.
So next part of the show.
Oh, okay.
Again, I'm just like setting it up to explain why this is terrible.
Okay.
So there's this scene where she's sitting on the couch. They're watching a movie with her assistant because they're best friends. And of course she is just acting completely best friendy again, even though she just like laughed at her behind her. It makes me so mad. I don't know why that part makes me so mad. And anyway, so she's like, the guy's name is, the Weeknd's character's name is Tedros. It's very hard to say, like, I can't say it. Tedros, Tedros. She doesn't know that he's a cult leader or anything yet.
Okay.
So she's like, she goes over to her best friend. She's like, I invited Tedros over, and her best friend, we're going to have to censor this word, and we might have to put a trigger warning at the beginning of this episode now that I'm thinking about it. Okay. Like, obviously I'm not going to get graphic or anything, but trigger warning for like discussions of SA. Because this whole show is the fantasization of that.
Oh my God.
So her friend looks at her and she's like, he's kind of R-wordy. And she's like, I kind of like that about him.
This was written by a man.
And that's the moment we all knew this was written by a man.
That's so gross.
Isn't that disgusting? Like, Sam Levinson, what the hell? And I have heard the second and third episode are worse. I've heard that those are worse.
Okay.
So, I'm collecting myself.
What?
I just was like, what? And she was just like, yeah, I kind of like that about him. So her assistant gets the door. So his entrance, oh my God. Oh, I can't. People that have watched this already are probably laughing along with me here. People that haven't are so confused.
Yeah.
The Weeknd makes his entrance. He's wearing a
what? He's wearing a what? I need to know.
He's wearing a trench coat. He's like a long leg down to his feet. He's dressed in all black. He's like in a trench coat, and they play this dramatic music, and the gate opens, and it's just his silhouette, and he's like walking down the driveway.
This sounds like a meme. This sounds like a joke.
The whole thing does not. I know. So I saw that part and like, what? Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say is the music, the score throughout this whole episode is terrible.
No,
it's
really
terrible. The music is like does not match the vibe. It's too loud, and then it's just like overly dramatic. Like it's very overly dramatic when it does not need to be. Okay, it's so funny though. It gets funnier. Well, this part is not funny. So Leah, the assistant, answers the door right after she said that about him a few minutes earlier, and he's like, and she's like, oh, I'm Leah. And he was like, oh, hello. And he just leans forward and kisses her on the cheek.
Absolutely
without
not.
Asking.
Ew.
Without
any
checking the vibe. And this poor thing, she played it very well because she like backs up. Like she does the thing where she like, where people are clearly rightfully uncomfortable. And she goes, thank you for that. And then she walks away and she's like, Joss, like... he's here. Like, what in the actual crumb bum hell is this? Who wrote this? Ew. Sam Levinson did.
That's weird.
So I can't keep it together. That part's not funny. It's just the rest of this scene I'm thinking about because The Weeknd is the cringiest.
I want to watch it now. It's not even it's just because you're laughing so hard that
because I'm thinking about it. So Lily Rose Depp is, I'm sorry, Jocelyn's getting ready. She's putting on like this sexy outfit and like garters and like, you know, thigh high socks, and she's putting on heels. And earlier her assistant was like, do you need the heels? And she was like, I want to be taller than him. It's like, okay. So he comes, so he's waiting for her to get ready. She's putting on perfume and everything, and the Weeknd's on her couch, and he just picks up one of her cushions and goes and just smells it.
Ew. That's so weird.
And then he pours himself a drink like he lives there.
Oh my
just,
God.
Like, gets an ice glass and puts hard A in it and just starts like, he's like trying, it looks like a guy trying really hard to be a brooding bad boy, but he's failing miserably.
No.
To be fair, the point is that he's
like
an antagonist, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think the point is that he's supposed to be, he has a rat tail, by the way. He's got like a it's big. I don't know if they tried to make him look so unattractive, but they succeeded. Wow. And so he's just slimy and gross as it is, but she's like really taken with him, and he's just being so over the top. Like, he's like, let's take a shot, and he's like, eye contact, and he like makes her, like, he looks her really intently in the eyes. He's like, while they're taking a shot. It's just very, very weird. Okay, the whole thing, like, he's just being this, I think that combined with the fact that he's just not a great actor, like, he obviously has never acted before, and he's trying really hard to make it seem like he knows what he's doing, is just makes the whole thing funnier. So, okay, so the ending to this episode is, another, like, actual trigger warning for this.
Yeah.
Again, it's just a show, so, like, everybody was, like, nobody was harmed or anything. Yeah. But just a huge trigger warning for people, because the last part could actually legit trigger people, I think. But I won't explain it graphically. So if any of you guys go watch it, just know that it could be triggering to some people. But they go in the other room. They listen to her pop song, like her single that's trying to make she's trying to make a comeback or whatever. And he like says that he says weird stuff about the way she sings and how she needs to get better at singing in a certain way. Again, I'm trying to be vague. Sorry, people. You might have to watch this part yourself if you want to see it. Yeah. And then, like, he does something.
There's, like, some weird breath play stuff that wasn't, like, prior discussed. Yeah. Like a real,
that's right.
Weird.
That it wasn't right. He doesn't ask her permission. They don't have any talk about it beforehand. And then we'll just say the last line of the episode is, now you can sing. That's what he tells her. It's all very strange. Here's I kind of had to explain the episode for me to explain the overall issue of this show. So first of all, like we said earlier, it was so clearly written like a man who thinks he knows what a woman with an R fantasy would think. Like, that's how he thinks. And I want to be like, okay, I think we're going here. Like, I mean, kinks are fine, and I just want people to feel like also normal. Like, having an R word kink is a real thing. A lot of women have it, actually, and it's exceedingly common, but obviously there's an extremely safe way to do it and go about it. Mickey can probably, I'll let Mickey speak to this a little bit more, because they know more about this than I do. Fair. But I just I feel like it's a good, like, disclaimer before we continue the episode. That we're not kink shaming anyone.
No, because there's nothing wrong with having, like, some people call it consensual non-consent. That, like, basically it's an agreed upon arrangement where we have clear boundaries, there's clear safe words, we've had a discussion about what our limits are, what our likes and dislikes are, like, all of that kind of stuff. Like, anybody who's engaging in, like, kink generally, I think I would encourage to like practice open communication and, like, not participating in any activities with someone who's not willing to have that conversation with you, because if they're not willing to talk with you clearly and openly about what your boundaries and limits are, they're not practicing kink, they're just being coercive at worst and just like, you know, a bad sexual partner
kind of
at
gross.
best. Yeah. So like there's nothing wrong with enjoying breath play or like consensual non-consent and like those types of fantasies and kinks and stuff. But it's just that like it's very much the 50 Shades of Grey thing to me.
Yes.
Like we're going to portray abuse but then call it a kink, and like that's not what that is. Like much to the dismay of people who are involved in the kink community. Like why are we platforming this? Because like that's not what it is, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's also a really important distinction, or something very important about it too, is that just because if a woman or femme presenting person has a specifically breathwork or R-word fantasy or kink, does not mean that they actually want it to happen to them at all whatsoever.
That's not
but I
what it
think
is.
that some people think that. I think some people think that like, oh, that's secretly what. No, that is absolutely clear line in the sand. That is not the same thing.
No.
It's like you would never ever wish that upon anyone.
No.
They're completely separate things.
Yes.
Because
and also too, like
doing it in a consensual manner can be fun.
Yes. Well, that's what I was going to say.
Creepy.
Is that enjoying power play too is very different than having like some kind of like secret desire to be R-worded. Like that's not a thing.
Yes.
Like if you want something to happen and you've agreed for it to happen, then it's not non-consensual. Like if we made the choice and had a discussion about this being which is very different.
It's a game.
It feels like a very like cishet male take about a consensual non-consent kink, and like just having a really poor understanding of what kink actually looks like, you know?
And I just want to go back to that scene really quick about her friend and her assistant warning her, basically saying like if I was sitting down with a friend or with you and you told that to me, like I got that vibe from him, I wouldn't be like, I kind of like that about him. I'd be like, oh wait, literally, why am I not seeing a red flag? Oh my god, that's so scary. Tell me. Like that is not a normal response to a friend that you trust saying something like that to you, and it is so utterly inaccurate that it's just and like, I feel like we talked about,
someone's misogyny just leaked all over this script, and they're like, this is good, right? You guys like this? And everyone's like,
this is
literally
how women think.
Yeah. Ugh.
So anyway, I just want, like, I think that's just an important distinction, that that's why we have an issue with this show, is not the kink itself or 50 Shades of Grey. It's not not the BDSM community. It's not the kink itself. Like, go off. Consensual, happy people, do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anyone.
Yes.
But portraying it in this way, as if a woman, he is portraying it as if she secretly wants it but won't admit it. And that is a weird thing to illustrate in a TV show. And I have heard that it gets worse. And I think that's the whole premise of the show, is that she falls in love with somebody extremely toxic, but doesn't care that he's toxic. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Right. And he obviously, they're portraying him very slimy. Like, they're obviously like, I mean, he is, but it's like some of the reviews kind of alluded to this too, where it's like they were trying to do something. They were trying to make this satirical commentary about Hollywood, and they missed the mark drastically. And all they did was like misogynize and just like objectify women and make it seem like
it feels a little bit like somebody's only education about sex or intimacy or kink has come from watching porn where women and femme folks are being brutalized. You know what I'm saying? Like like very much the thing of like, I watched some of the most like seedy corners of the internet, and I like, now I've decided that I'm going to platform this as like the normal way that people go about sex and kink. And like, first of all, no, but second of all, can we talk about how harmful this is to people who are just learning about sex and kink and like don't understand the like norms and boundaries that should exist there. Like, can we not do this where we're continuing to perpetuate the idea that, first of all, women and femme people and people affected by misogyny are like objects to be consumed during sex.
Yes.
But also that like the right way, the like sexy way to go about sex is to brutalize your partner. Like, literally no. Like, that's so fucking gross.
Without
and
having a
also
conversation.
Weird. Yes. Ugh. I don't like that.
See, and I think that's what I think is so weird too, is like, why would you want to do anything to a partner without knowing for sure they enjoyed it?
Yes.
If you are not active, if they are not enjoying something, or you think they might not be enjoying something and you haven't talked about it and you don't know,
yes,
why is it a turn on for you?
Yes.
That's creepy.
That's a problem.
That's creepy.
We need to look
acting
inward.
and role playing and pretending not to enjoy something and everything because you've talked about it before and you have a safe word and stuff.
Totally fine.
If it's not like that, why is that? Why do you think that's sexy? That's weird that you think that's sexy.
Why do you get off on
really
trying
creepy.
to force your partner to participate in behaviors that they haven't previously agreed to? Like, that's a thing that we need to work out in our own selves before we even think about involving another person in our sexual activities. Because, like, that's abusive. Like, that's not okay.
Something that's something you need to work out in therapy and not bring other people into.
That's
until
rough.
You have that figured
God,
out.
it sounds like the show is like bad in the problematic way, but also just like really poorly made.
The first like few honestly, I wish that the weekend part wasn't in it, because honestly, if it was about her trying to make a comeback as a pop star, like I'd almost enjoy watching it. Because the first part before he was involved in it, like, it was kind of like, I was intrigued. Like, I thought they set it up well. Like I said, the camera work was great. The Dan Levy, of course, is always a treat. Lily Rose Depp doing a great job. And it was kind of a fascinating thing about like her life. And like I said, it was interesting that like the first like 15 minutes, it's about all the people around her. It's not about her. Like, it was like how everybody handles this thing. And the perspective wasn't from her perspective until later in the episode. And I think that would have been a cool, interesting thing to explore. And it didn't have to. I feel like this going off in this weird direction halfway through the episode was like just missed the mark. That's
a good point, actually, because I feel like you're right that like the perspective and like exploring the way that people kind of dehumanize public figures and stuff, and like how the show introduces her as like through the lens of other people, like that's kind of interesting commentary, you know, about how like, especially in light of what happened to Britney Spears and her conservatorship and like all of that stuff. Like, that is an interesting conversation to have about how like, you know, people in the public eye can have like kind of a dehumanizing experience. Like, we really didn't need to include this weird cult leader storyline at all. Like, we could have just had a cool TV show about Lily Rose Depp's character, and that's it.
And it could have explored her sexuality. It still could have explored her, like her sexuality as a celebrity, as somebody well known, as somebody in Hollywood. Like, call Sam Levinson up. Tell him he fucked up and that he needs to redo it, and that we know how he should redo it.
Yes. Yeah. We'll give him a mulligan. Just start over. Just throw the whole show away and start over.
Just because. So D'Angelo Wallace said that he's going to do a review of episode 2 and 3. And I'm interested because in his take, because it was according to him that he heard that it got a lot worse, this is the pretty tame episode, and that I think the objectification gets way worse throughout. So now that you know what happens, do you think you'll watch it now just out of curiosity?
I don't know.
Just because The Weeknd is so funny.
I kind of want to watch the scenes that you were telling me about are funny and then just like skip the last part, because I feel like that would like send me into orbit, like actually having to watch that.
Fair.
I don't know. Like, I feel like that would actually push my buttons. And I'm also like confused and weirded out by like the desire to graphically represent such a weird non-consensual moment, you know, like just that's yucky to me. I know it's not real, but there are real people who did sit in a writing room together and be like, yes, this is the show that we want to make. Like, this is it. Why is this the content that y'all are making?
Okay, not only that, but pilots don't just like go out to the world. Like, they have test audiences. They have people watch them and say like, hey, let's tweak it. Worse. That's not good. That's
I didn't even think
bad.
about that.
somebody could have told them, like, hey, this is problematic. This is not a good piece of media to be showing to people, especially Euphoria audiences who are probably late teenagers
young
watching
adults.
Euphoria, and now they're going to go watch this and not.
Woof. That's rough.
Woof is right.
That makes it so much worse.
It's just kind of gross. Yeah. Maybe you could find the scenes on YouTube of just the weekend being weird because
my God.
I thought this was so funny. I was just watching it. I was like, what is he doing? There is no conceivable way somebody actually directed him to act this out.
I want to watch that so bad now because I'm curious if it's as cringy as you say it is or if it's just like a you thing. Like, I need to know.
It's pretty cringy. Yeah. Watch the scene where he comes to the intro to the house.
Yeah.
Okay, the smelling the pillow really got me. You guys, this is a 1000% a straight rip from the Sesh podcast. This is where I got this idea. This is not my idea to put this in a podcast. People will come for me for copying, and I definitely got this from them because they do it in their pod all the time, and I love those segments. So I thought it'd be fun to just pull a random Am I the Asshole from Reddit, and we can decide.
Let's do it.
Am I the asshole for showing a spreadsheet of everything I pay for and showing their dad doesn't do shit? Okay. I'm getting mixed opinions here. 2 kids, 13 and 11. I'm not going to lie. We live a pretty frugal life. All the extra money I make goes into their college accounts or fun weekends. Dad has them once a month and is the fun parent.
Oh, no.
I put quotes around that, not her. Oh, this is a mom.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was going to be a dad, like a stepdad bashing another.
Yeah, no, I think this is a mom bashing dad.
No, I think this is the mom bashing dad, yeah. Dad has them once a month and is the fun parent.
Oh, boy.
Can't get his child payments in, but willing to do a surprise trip to Kennewood. It's frustrating, all right. I try not to say anything bad about him, but he has been pushing the narrative that without him and the money he gives me, we wouldn't have this home. It's so false, and now the kids are going, well, dad pays for this. My last straw is when the kids told me that it's dad who pays for the home. So I pulled up my budget spreadsheet, and it includes all the stuff that he pays for, so child support, and he hasn't paid for the past 2 months. The kids were upset for being lied to, and the oldest got in an argument with him, said she called to confirm. We got in an argument, and he is calling me a jerk.
Wow.
Sorry, I don't know why I thought that was funny. My friends are split on this, and I am wondering if I went too far. Before I read any comments, I want to see what your initial reaction to that is. That's a hard one, actually.
So on Am I the Asshole, if you're not familiar, there's different rating or decisions, votes that people can have. One of them is you're the asshole. One of them is no assholes here. Meaning nobody involved is an asshole.
Neither side is.
Yes. Another one is that everybody here sucks, meaning everybody here is being an asshole. Or that the other person is the asshole. I feel strongly that this is a everybody here sucks situation because I just ideally, as parents, you shouldn't be involving your kids in whatever stuff is going on between you.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know how old the kids are.
He said 11 and 13.
Okay. So, these kids are definitely old enough to gather context clues and, be aware. These kids will figure out eventually if one of their parents is being untruthful to them. But, leveraging this budget spreadsheet to try to, prove a point is in a way kind of character assassinating their dad, and their dad being well, I'm paying for everything is in a way trying to win favor with the kids to make the mom look bad. And basically what you guys are doing is using your kids as pawns to get back at your ex-spouse, which is childish and sad. Your kids aren't objects, they're people, and you're damaging their relationship with one of their parents. Why are you doing that? That's that makes me sad. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think no matter what is going on, I don't think you should ever involve the children in your relationship shit. I think that's none of their business, and I think that's not their problem. Even if I think dad sucks for like, that's a rude thing to do. Like you said, trying to win favor, like trying to be trying to be the favorite parent.
Yes.
I would imagine dad's probably jealous that mom gets the kids all the time and has them primarily. And so when he has time with them, it probably is a little competition. If they're not on good terms, he probably does want like them to like have more fun with him or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it's hard when parents do that. Obviously, I mean, neither of us are parents, but like it's really hard when parents act like their kids. As long as if you're a good parent, your kids probably love you. Yeah. Most likely, you know, most kids naturally just want love and affection from their parents.
Yes.
And the fact that they get to go see dad, like you probably could do the bare minimum of just like watching TV with them all day and they probably would be happy to be there.
Yeah.
So rude of him to like try to do that. But also like, yeah, like that was, I think mom was the one using them more as pawns because then she's like, no, come here, look at this, look at how much he pays for, and look at it. And like you said, the lying part was a really good point because they would find out he was lying eventually without her help, and now she's the one. Now she just built up the resentment by making it worse. The human side of me understands why she's frustrated, but like, don't bring the kids.
Well, and I feel like also too, there's a way to be like, listen, that's not true. Like, first of all, the particulars of your dad and I's finances are none of your guys' business. But second of all, like your dad and I both participate in taking care of you. And there's not like a one parent is doing more than the other one. So like, you know, your dad can say whatever he wants, but like, listen, I'm just telling you that
from our therapist
here. You know what I'm saying? But I just like the budget, like pulling out the spreadsheet to me, like feels like just like, a different level. Like it, I feel like mom got like petty. Triggered. Yeah. And like kind of took out her frustration at her ex on her kids, which is not cool.
Yeah. I think so too. I think she should have had a conversation with the ex saying like, you know, she needs to work that out with them and stop telling them stuff. Stop like it, you know, it makes me feel some kind of way when you tell them this and that about me and that I'm not making it seem like I do less for them.
Yeah.
I just wanted the top comment is not the asshole. They said the situation sucks, but your ex attacked.
What?
You're just defending yourself. So nope, not the asshole. He is.
I don't like that.
Somebody below that said the data speaks for itself. Little data joke there.
Oh my God. What?
Not the asshole. Ex opened the door.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, like on a personal level, I get it, but like I just feel bad.
Fuck
for the
around
kids.
And find out. Strikes again. Yeah, no, I don't agree with that.
I feel like it would be different if this was like a disagreement between like two people. You know, like fine if this was like a disagreement between like two coworkers or like two siblings or whatever. Like fine, you know, like I will pull up the data and like shame you in front of all of our coworkers or whatever. But like really the people who are suffering are the kids, you know? Like it's funny, sure.
Like like you're putting them in the middle.
Yeah.
Like you have now placed the kids in the middle of this.
Yeah. Like,
and they should never be in the middle.
Dad lied to his kids and like damaged the trust there, and mom made the relationship between mom and dad adversarial, and now the kids feel like stuck in the middle probably. That sucks.
This is an interesting comment too. If he was actually lying and the kids were believing his lies, then absolutely unequivocally not the asshole, period. You almost had to do this. He doesn't look bad in their eyes because you exposed him. He looks bad because he lied to begin with and because he created the situation that he lied about. Edit, it's just barely possible that he actually believed his own lies. If so, that's not really better. Wow.
Yeah, I feel like we're setting up this dichotomy though, that like if you let another parent lie to your kids, that they will inevitably come to dislike you, and that's not true. You know?
Yeah.
Because also you can
everybody's
defend yourself.
saying NTA.
I don't like that. You can defend yourself without making it your kid's problem, you know?
Yes. Not the asshole. I hate to see kids pulled into divorce and support drama, but they're old enough to know the truth. Huh.
They're still
so that person, it was the age because they're like almost teenagers. Not the asshole. Hard situation, but honestly, showing a spreadsheet of the expenses is a more considerate and thoughtful way of showing this to kids. They are old enough to begin to understand And this is better than emotional manipulation, deceit, guilt, or deceit.
I just
Not
really
the
feel
asshole.
like
Looks like dad is brainwashing the kids. I would love to know dad's take on this.
I feel like we're setting up a false dichotomy here where their only choice was to say nothing or to bring out the spreadsheet, and I feel like that's not true.
I know. Like she had another option.
Literally.
I wish dad would come, like, find this and come forward and like give his side of the story. That would be really interesting, because for all we know, she's been doing like other petty stuff to him like all the time. And like, not that that makes what he's doing right, but like, that's so interesting. Okay, I do like the whole, like, we talk about it before looking at the comments and then read the comments to see what the comments say about it, to see if we're like if we have a controversial opinion or not. So okay, guys, should we wrap it up?
Yes, let's wrap it up.
All right.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thank you all for being here. Rate, subscribe, like the video.
Yes, leave us reviews if you like us.
Please.
Thanks.
Yes, if you like us. We'll be up for episode 10 next week, you guys.
I know. I can't believe it.
It's such a huge milestone. Me too. Yes. So, okay, guys. Cool. See you next time.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.